Okay, I'm ready.
All right.
This conference will now be recorded.
I would like to call to order the Tuesday, February 7th, 2023 meeting of the Monmouth City Council and ask our city recorder, Phyllis Bowman, for the roll call, please.
Councillor Belt.
Here.
Councillor Carey.
Here.
Councillor Lopez is excused. Councillor McKeel is maybe excused. Councillor Oberst.
Here.
Councillor Salinas Oliveros.
Here.
Mayor Cruz.
I am present. And for the flag salute this evening, I will lead us in that. There she is. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here you go. You want me to go get it?
And Phyllis, as you can see, Councillor McKeel joined us in time for the flag salute. She is here with us. We're getting a chair settled in. All right. Our first item this evening is our consent calendar. That includes our minutes of the council meeting of January 17th. Those minutes are included in the packet, so I would entertain
Move approval.
additions. I hear a move for approval.
Second.
And a second from Councillor Belts. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
And not
Or-
hearing any opposed. At this time, we take public comments, but I don't think we have any. We have several guests and visitors tonight, but I don't see anyone here for public comments. So we'll move quickly onto our business agenda with, like I say, some presentations tonight. Our first being folks from our Polk County Resource Center. So Marty, you want to do introductions?
I haven't prepared any introductory remarks tonight or staff report. I think that the team from the Family Community Outreach Group is here and would like to share with you a progress report and update about what's been happening with the Resource Center services. Stephanie Gilbert will be starting us off tonight.
Stephanie, please introduce your team for us.
Yes. Well, thank you for having us. My name is Stephanie Gilbert. I am the program manager for the Family and Community Outreach Department in Polk County. Part of my role is to supervise both of our resource center sites, so both Dallas and our site here in Monmouth. With me, I have Flora, who is our lead resource connector, working between our two sites, and Jesus, who works primarily out of our Monmouth site. So I'm hoping that we got this to you all in time for it to be included in your packet. But we just brought you a quick update on things that we've been working on and things that we have going on, both at a county-wide level and then zoomed in right here to Monmouth. So lots of good information is packed in here. We wanted to highlight how we've been using that funding that we received from the City of Independence and how the team's working really hard. You can see on there that with leveraged funds, they've doubled that money so far this year, which is incredible work that they're doing with families. So in order for them to illustrate for you all the work that we're doing over at the resource centers, they've prepared a little skit that they're going to walk you through what it's like for a client who comes into the resource center. Once they do that, if you all have questions, I'm happy to help answer any of those that you might have. I'll treat you.
And maybe we can remind folks the resource center is located.
Yes. So we are on 16th Street at the Ash Creek Annex site. We're there Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Wednesdays, we stay open until 6. So folks that are working in the community still have the ability to come and access those services. All of the services that we provide there are in English and Spanish. And so we're really trying to be inclusive of the community and make sure that we're getting those resources out the best that we can.
Wanna sit down if you want? Okay. So for this scenario, we're just gonna pretend like I walked into the office. Flora's gonna play the part of front desk, resource connector, and I'm gonna play a client who is coming in and needing resources. All right? Okay.
Hi, how you doing? How can I help you today?
I'm doing all right. I have a lot of stuff happening right now in my life, and I need some help.
Definitely. Let's go ahead and go back to one of our family meeting rooms and we can talk a little bit. You have a
Thank
few
you.
minutes?
Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, tell me what's going on.
Well, recently I lost my wife to cancer, and I've been dealing with the death recently, and I lost. Well, right now I'm not currently working. Luckily, my job is letting me have a grieving process at time, but I just don't have any funds. I am behind on my rent, just for this month. I think I can go back to work next month, but I'm also behind on my electricity and a water bill, and it's just a lot.
Yes. Sounds like everything's kind of building up there, but you're in the right place. So I have a flyer here, just goes over a little bit of the services that we do offer here in the Resource Center. I see that you said you were struggling with some rental and utilities. Okay. We could definitely look into the process to what it looks like for us to be able to help with your rent. We do have a partnership as well with Community Action, which can potentially help with your utility, with your water, your electric, your heat source. And I'd like to know a little bit more about your household. Is it just yourself in the household?
I actually have two girls. They both attend high school here at Central. They're both seeking counseling. I know it would be very helpful for them.
Okay.
Do you know any resources?
Yeah, definitely. So at Central, we actually have a school-based mental health counselor that's there at Central. Her name is Hillary. I could definitely get you in contact with her so that your girls can have someone to go to when they're at school and have somebody to talk to and really feel safe there. If you don't mind just filling out this release of information for me real quick, I'm going to run around, get some paperwork together. I have a few resources I'd like to share with you real quick, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll be right back. Perfect. I hope you had some time to look over this. So one of the forms I want to go over with you is our application. It's a 2-page application real quick for energy assistance. I'll have you fill this one out. It's going to be able to help with the electric, the water, and I'll send this over to Community Action and keep close communication with them and let you know where we're at on the process of that. I have a list here of a few documents that I'll request so we'll be able to help you with your rent and take care of the rental. Basically the same information I'll be asking for rent, they're going to need for energy assistance. So there's no extra work that you have to do there.
Okay.
I know that you didn't mention it, but I also wanted to share this with you. This is the food bank that's right around the corner from us, Ella Coran. They are opened Tuesdays, Thursdays, and also Monday, Tuesdays. So if you're ever working late, they're there until 6 as well. So definitely use them if you need to. We also have some, so we do have some hygiene products as well. I can help you with that today before you leave. I'm going to provide you with my contact information so that you can contact me directly through email, through phone, and we can work together closely to get you guys over this, okay?
Yeah, I sure hope I'm not taking from anyone else, though.
Absolutely not. We are here to help.
Okay. And hey, ¿hablas español?
Sí, sí hablo español.
Qué bueno, pues tengo unos compañeros que quieren hablar con usted también.
Oh, perfecto. Bring them on in. We all speak Spanish here. So, yeah, we could definitely help.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Let's see.
So that's that's actually a real scenario of a client that came in a similar situation, and we were able to help them with the rent. We have a couple other families that we were able to help this month. Two of them, we were able to help them with deposits moving into a place. They came up on West Valley Housing waiting list, and they got a voucher, but West Valley Housing doesn't pay for deposits. So we were able to help pay for their deposit to get them into a home. We were able to leverage funds. For one of them, we leveraged up to $600 in funds through other partnerships that we have as well. We had another family with a single mother with teenage girls that needed beds. They had moved into a new home and they didn't have beds to sleep on. We don't ever want to hear about kids sleeping on the ground. So we did provide mattresses, bed frames, and comforters for the family. So we don't only help with one thing. If you come in for one thing, we're going to find as many resources as we can to help them.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Questions for our team while we're here?
Give us the days and hours again.
Yes, so we're there Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And then on Wednesday, we make a little adjustment. We're 9 to 6.
Counselor Salinas Oliveros and then Counselor Belts.
Yes, I just want to make a comment. I want to thank you for being here and all of the services that you provide. I was fortunate enough to walk in to your building and pick up some information in Spanish for some community members. And I have to say, I was greeted with respect and friendliness, and there was 3 of you there, and it just, that makes a huge difference to have that environment. And I just want to say that that was really wonderful. And I love that firsthand experience and walking into that environment. It makes a huge difference. So thank you. Really appreciate you being here and all the help that you bring to our community.
Thank you.
Those are all seconds and thirds. So I know that after the eviction moratorium was lifted, there are many people that have now been evicted. So that's going to be on their record. Are there suggestions you can give to people now that are looking to rent again that have evictions on their record?
That's a great question. We're seeing that a lot.
Yes.
Seeing that daily. So what we have done, we've got some projects that we're working on, both with DHS self-sufficiency, clients specifically who have really challenging backgrounds that make them really hard to house. And with West Valley Housing Authority, similar contract in that we're working with folks who have been approved for their voucher, and now they have this shiny new voucher and they don't know what to do next. So we are constantly working through what some of that stuff looks like. But what we're trying to do is often in those cases, we're looking for landlords who maybe only own 1 or 2 properties and are willing to hear a story and take a chance on somebody. We talk a lot about things such as like the rent well classes that exist, financial literacy classes, and really helping clients to understand, like, yes, this is on your record, and when they're really recent, that's really, really tough. But what you have to be doing is doing all of the work to show a landlord that we're back on the right track and that we're making progress towards those goals. And we've seen that be super helpful when we've gone to landlords and said, hey, we know this person has an eviction, but look at all of the steps that they've taken to make sure that they don't end up back there. And we've had some success with that, mostly with those independent landlords. With some of those big companies, that's just a hard, it's a machine, right? So you can't change that process, but we don't shy away from those cases. So we're willing to walk alongside those clients and help them get it figured out.
Thank you for that. And you mentioned a voucher. Educate
Yes.
me. How does someone get a voucher? I mean, is this the 2-year waiting list I've heard about? Okay.
Yes, so the Section 8 vouchers, we help folks apply for those all of the time too. The waiting list is about 25 months. What we are working on with that contract, though, is helping clients who are maybe in that process, in that waiting period, getting all of their documents together, making sure that everything is ready so that when their name gets pulled, there's no way that they miss that opportunity. And then even just they get that and they go to this briefing and they hear all of this information from HUD and all of just this huge program, and then we really break that down and make that a little bit easier to navigate and help walk people through that.
Thank you.
I also understand that this is not the beginning of Jesus's day with the city of Monmouth, that I understand you were out at our Monmouth Power and Light building today assisting customers with our utility shutoff process and trying to help folks as our power and light folks were trying to deal with the folks that Jesus was out there today. I heard you were pretty busy. Is that right?
Yes, I've gotten a lot busier since the last 2 months I've been there. But I think I now see that I'm very vital there. I feel that. Like the amount of stress or the amount of the worry that you see on their faces when they walk in, it's just like immeasurable. It's really tough. And so many of them really come in saying, hey, I just feel like I'm taking from someone. And I automatically tell them, no, that's not the case. These funds here are for you. It's to help you out during a tough time. And so it was a really nice day for me, just because I was able to see so many people leave with less weight on their shoulders. They were happier. They were now wanting to live the rest of their day and enjoy it. So it was really nice.
And I'm sure it's nicer for our staff who don't like utility shut-off day at all, and having that someone there to offer those resources and support. Because we can hand a flyer, right, to folks, but as you say, just the worry and the concern and them not being able to really absorb that there's help, but having you there as a friendly face to share with them, I'm sure it makes all the difference. So. Councillor Carey has a question or comment.
Thank you for being here. My audio was breaking up a bit, so you might have answered this, but regarding Councillor Beltz's question regarding evictions, rather than being reactive, are you able to sort of preemptively reach out to landlords in the area to let them know that you can provide services, and to maybe not be quite so hasty and allow you guys a chance to work your magic, so you don't have to get them back into the system? You might have covered that and I might have missed it, but that would seem to be a pretty important aspect if you could do it.
Sure, that's a great question. We work really closely with local landlords. We've got somebody on our team that a big chunk of what he does is just goes out and meets with landlords, especially as they're new landlords that maybe we've never met with before. We go out, we talk about the services that we offer. His famous line is, I want to know if you have a tenant that loses a shoe. Because we can help early. We don't have to wait till we get to that eviction process. If we know a family is having a hard time, let us get involved. And because we don't want to see people get to that eviction period, that shortens the timeline for us. It shortens the timeline for the family. Adds a lot of extra stress. And really, since COVID, we have had the opportunity with many of our funding streams to be more flexible. It used to be you had to have that eviction notice. You had to be already down that path. And a lot of people are seeing the value of moving upstream a little further and working in that prevention space. We know that it costs a lot less money to keep someone in their home than to try to find a new home once we have that eviction and all of those other pieces too. So we're out, anytime we hear of a new landlord, we have a packet, we call it our world tour. We go out and talk about everything that we offer.
Wow.
And try to really build those relationships.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
For spending a very long day, Jesus.
We really
Stephanie,
appreciate
thank you,
your
and Laura,
service.
thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Our next guest, Nikki Marzani, our Chamber of Commerce Director, to let us know I was going to say what's going on, but there's so much. So, there's a time limit here, woman, but we are so excited for all the work you're doing and things coming up. So
Thank you. Thank you, counselors, for having me back. It's been a year. So I am keeping it short and sweet, and just know that whatever I'm reporting on is probably times 5. First, some numbers. So the chamber in the last, in 2022, grew to 254 members. So I don't know if you recall, and luckily all of you were here last year. My goal is to get 30 new members in the year. We got 88. So we had over a 60% growth. And I think that's a good sign. That's a good sign that businesses are willing to, first of all, join something, but they have confidence in the communities that they're doing their business in. And I think that the chamber's growth shows that. And a lot of them were either new businesses or ones that were coming back because they felt confident after the COVID numbers were changing. Networking, we still do morning greeters. We did 12 of those. 11 Thirsty Thursdays. We added the December one is now a Friday happy hour before everybody takes off for the Christmas holiday. 14 ribbon cuttings. That was up from 6 the year before. And 12 of our Polk County Women in Business, which was our new group networking for last year. New events. So if you've sat with me, you know I'm not huge on chambers doing events because I can support all of you guys in your downtown associations. But I said if there ever was an event that made sense to all businesses, I would do it, and Make Music filled that role. Make Music Day is a worldwide event that started in France and is celebrated on June 21st, the first day of summer solstice. And as long as a business has a place for musicians to stand, they can participate. So it doesn't have to be where you would usually see live music. And we partnered with Dallas on this. And last year, our first year event, we had 23 locations with over 60 performers. And we had everything from bands to a porch band, karaoke. And the Monmouth Library did a ukulele lesson in the park, and I was able to get ukulele books for everybody that participated from the National Make Music. So we thought, well, that was such a great event. Let's do the winter one. So for winter solstice, we tried it this year, and that's more about a community participation rather than how many locations you can get. And the Gate gave us use of their gym. And Nathan Jr. came, and Chris, who started the Gate, and led Christmas carols. So it was such a community event. We had princesses from the Princess Project, which is a nonprofit that shows up, and all of those princesses sing, and the little girls just love them, and maybe some grown-ups too. The Grinch showed up. Grocery Outlet did hot chocolate for everybody. Ellen Osborne, who you probably all know, gave ornaments to everybody. And I was able to get free instruments for Make Music National for all the kids to take some instruments home. And so it lasted a little over an hour, over 60 people for our first year event on the 21st, right before, I think it was the day before school got out. And we just think that event can grow. And it's pretty exciting to hear people sing that time of year, first of all, because I think caroling is kind of a thing that a lot of people have never done in their life. So it was tons of fun. So we'll continue to grow that. As far as the summer one goes, we'll continue with kind of the same model as last year, but we are hoping next year with leap year, we'll have a Friday event, and we can maybe extend the hours and really grow that one. With education and outreach, I'm working really hard with Central High School right now with their CTE program. Another thing I've been talking about for a while, but it looks like it's going to happen this spring. We have 10 businesses that have signed up, and we'll be using CTE students to go in to do everything from bookkeeping to web design. And from what I understand, this could turn out to be a statewide model. So we're wanting to come out with all the T's crossed and I's dotted and make this a part of the pathways starting in the fall. So it helps students. They call it student-based learning now. Get out and get some experience before they graduate, but also will help our small businesses get some things done that they may have not known they needed done or that they need just a little bit of help with. So I'm very excited about this. It's been a long time coming. And then most recently, I've been working with Courtney with the City of Independence and City of Monmouth's Marketing Mondays. So that's able to give some education some classes to the local businesses. And the first one was last month, and we had quite a turnout. And now everybody's talking about it. So I think that the one on the 27th will be even a bigger turnout, and that will be on Canva, which I'm taking my computer to learn a little more on that one too. Partnerships, this is such a small list because it seems like I have meetings every day with someone different, but with the Dallas Chamber, we continue to work on the Polk County Women in Business and grow that networking event. Our dual memberships, which means if somebody belongs to one of the chambers, they can join the other chamber at a discounted rate. And it's with fewer benefits, but it enables them to at least get to the networking events, which makes a lot of sense if we have a business that does business in all of Polk County. And then, of course, the Make Music Day, which we've already talked about. MBA, we did Music in the Park, the WU Welcome to Monmouth Independence celebration, and that is so much fun. If you've not been, make sure you go in September when it happens again. Salem Health sponsored a DJ this year. We had Wolfie out there doing dance-offs with the college students coming in, and it's the most joyful thing. So make sure you come. And then I'm Making Spirits Bright. City of Monmouth, I helped out with the 4th of July event last year, and the City of Independence with the Oregon Hop Run, which is a 5 and 10K run. We continue to do the discounted cinema ads for the businesses, and if you haven't heard about that, it's a partnership with the cinema where I have the screen time or the screens, and I'm able to sell that space to businesses at a much discounted rate because we put 4 on a screen rather than 1. And we went from 2 screens to 5 this year, which means 20 businesses are advertising. And I know it works because I sneak into some movies sometimes on a Friday afternoon, and I've seen people clap, cheer, and take pictures of those slides so that they have those when they get home and can remember what businesses they saw up there. It's pretty neat to see, and I know the businesses like seeing it too. To the visitor center. The visitor center has grown. There's now a gift shop. It's a work in progress. We're still looking for a lot more items to fill the store. And the Sippery donated a POS system for us and filled in all the information with all the items that we have in there. And the Friends of the Visitor Center, which is a nonprofit I started about a year ago for a fundraising arm of that, is now meeting quarterly and starting to get up and running. I'm hoping in June we can have a big open house for that. A big part of what we did this last year was before I started. So Senator Patterson designated funds, ARPA funds, to go out in small business grants. So in 2022, we were able to give out over 70 grants to small businesses and nonprofits. And I just have to say that impact still follows me to this day when I go into business. I never fail to get hugs and thanks for helping them with that last month rent before things started picking up again. So thank you, Senator Patterson, and thank you for giving us that honor of getting that money out to businesses. Very cool. Kind of lastly on the news front is you may have seen this new awesome sign on Highway 99. That was another thing I talked about for a really long time, and it finally happened, thanks to our great partnerships with the City of Monmouth and Western Oregon University. The sign is, I think it's pretty, and it's already showing things that are happening in the community and on campus. I think right now Monmouth has a couple library things up there for stuff going on at the library. We were able to put the town hall up there, and the February promotion for the utilities with the Love Local is happening. This also can happen, can be used for emergency services should there be a flood or an Amber Alert or a wreck that closes roads. As long as I'm notified, I can change it from anywhere in the world. At Christmas Day, I was changing things on my computer for the sign, and then I was worried maybe I didn't do it right, so I drove to Monmouth and took a look at my sign and then took it back home because I'm just excited about it. And I probably will do that for months to come because it's pretty cool, but it's web-based, so any emergencies or anything, I can get up there right away. I consider it to be a community sign and want it to be used as such, so we will keep updating that. Upcoming events that the Chamber's doing, just because you guys are always welcome. Tomorrow we have greeters at 8:30 in the morning, and it's at Monmouth Power and Light, so close to home for all of you. On the 28th at 11 a.m., we have the State of the Cities, where Mayor McCardle will be giving an update on what's going on. And then we also have the voting open right now for the Chamber Community Awards. And those have changed a bit this year and have become true community awards, not just chamber member awards. So take a look at those ballots and put in for your favorite businesses when you have a minute. Looking forward to 2023. I'm saying we're going to add 30 new members, and now I know how low I'm going because we already have 5 new ones this year. So I think we will surpass it again, but start low, go high, right? So a big part of my year is going to be maintaining the current membership. I want to make sure that I'm not spread too thin and that I'm really servicing our members as we go forward. I know how hard it is to count the chamber in for small businesses, and I want to make sure that they're able to do that and they're benefiting from it. So that's super important to me. Continue to explore partnerships in both the educational and just in general, things that I can work with others on. Grow that visitor center gift shop. We have a new phone app coming out. It'll be out by the end of this month, and it will have a member directory, a tab for parks and trails, a tab with the calendar, and a tab with how to start a business in both Monmouth and Independence. So it'll be the fingertips of everybody, and we're hoping to really impact the usage of that to the students at Central and WU and make it easier for them to find our businesses. And lastly, we're going to spend a lot of time pursuing some grants this year. The chamber kind of works on its own. It's membership based, it's business to business, but we are the visitor center. And to me, that means bringing visitors to town. So I have some big ideas, and I'm not going to talk about them because you'll hear about them for 18 months, and then maybe they'll have the money, and then I have to come get permissions for things. But I think that we can do some really neat things in the area to help drive tourism and some dollars to our businesses. So we'll be working on that. Any questions? Yes, Ms. Bell.
Counselor Bells and Board Member Bells.
Board Member Bell.
Well, I wonder if you could speak to the challenge that you took up starting February 1st to go visit all of the businesses and how you're doing that.
Okay, so for a brief moment, I had a lapse in good judgment, and I signed up to walk 100 miles for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and that's been a charity that I've supported for years. And then when I thought about it, I thought February is a short month. I'm at a conference for 3 days, and it's really cold outside. So how am I going to walk 100 miles? And I thought, well, I will do it by visiting 250 businesses in Independence and Monmouth during the month of February. So today I think I finished, I'm probably up around 20 or 25 businesses. I have 74 miles left to go.
Wow.
And probably this is going to have to be a February tradition now. It's really been fun. And I have some members that have offered to walk with me, some city employees that have offered to walk with me. And I think it's a good time to do catch up, but also a good time to introduce people to other business members that they may have not met before. So in my work week, I'm fitting in several miles a day and several businesses a day to make sure I can reach that goal.
Other questions, comments, or ideas of things for Nikki to do in her spare time, or have at it?
But I'm always good for coffee, and I'm always good for volunteers. So if you want to do either of those, let me know.
All right.
Thank
you. Thank you. And long day, and spending time to come see us is much appreciated. Very excited about all the work. All right, our final business agenda item this evening is our quarterly report on the city's finances. So Janet Chenard, our finance director, is remotely going to present what constitutes the entire board packet almost, or council packet tonight. So.
Yes, sorry to be remote, but thank you, Madam Mayor and honorable councilors. I have a slight cold, and so I'm protecting you by being remote, and that way you can also hear me without my mask. So I am bringing to you the December halfway through the year second quarter report, and I'm pleased to say that things are still looking good. We have a few things that I would highlight from the report is that our marijuana taxes, local taxes, the state tax is still lower than it has been, which was predicted, but the local tax, we actually were able to realize, or the county was able to, I should say, the state was able to entice some delinquent payments out of one of our providers. And so we are completely caught up and we have no delinquencies on our marijuana taxes and so are therefore about 17% ahead of where we were last year. They, I from time to time pester them to get those collected, and they have a process, and I guess it finally came together. So that was some good news. In general, we are at where we expected to be at this time of year, or a little bit ahead based on conservative budgeting. Our departments are below the 50% mark. I will say that as you look at the different department personnel costs, you'll notice the fringe benefits look a little bit higher than one would expect at this time of year. And that is, as a reminder, you approved a PERS contribution to a side account, and that came from that line item, which is why it looks a little bit high, but it should be fine by the end of the year relative to the rest of their budgets. So I am not concerned by that, but that plus insurance is one of the reasons that you see, for example, library being a little bit close to the 50% spent mark at this point in the year. The other thing that I would talk about is on page 23, which is your capital, is the capital narrative. And just to highlight a few things there, as you know, I think Marty's been talking about it. We did get delivery of the 3 trolley buses. And so that is the biggest piece of the pie other than City Hall work. When you look at what we've been spending on capital. So we are making a good dent in our capital this year. And the other thing which I alluded to at the budget committee meeting last week was that we are spending some ARPA funds as well on radios and a telephone system that we're hoping will improve over our current MyTel system, which has not been very robust, I will say. And it will result in some cost savings as well, which is always a good option. If we can get better communication and cost savings in the long run, I think that makes me happy. And then lastly, I would just talk a little bit about the investment report. I know I've been promising you for a couple of months that I was going to be able to get a safety, not a safety deposit box. I think term, sorry, the cold is in my brain. We would have to set up a safekeeping account in order to buy investment funds again under our policy. And so I am still hoping to do that in the next little while. The good news is that the local government investment pool is not lagging by nearly as much as I've seen in the past. They bumped up again, actually, this month, and so, or January actually, and so they are just lagging a little bit on the treasury notes and for liquid funds, which enables us to be poised for capital spending and urban renewal spending. I'm not feeling a huge push to get out into the markets and lock myself into something that's longer term. And as well, I would note that at the halfway point this year, we are already double what we earned in the full year last year. So again, it's helping. I have no regrets about the per side account contribution, especially because earnings came in. We found out last week that earnings came in very, very low for 2022. In fact, negative. And so that is going to possibly push up our unfunded liability. And so I'm hoping the fact that we have the side account will help to cushion any potential rate increase that we would see in the 25-27 biennium. So, mixed news, I guess, but I think overall we're well positioned. And with that, I would take questions that you might have.
Anything? Yes, Councillor Carey.
Good report. Good news on all of this. Yeah, you were, I was expecting you to crow about the investments, and good for you there. One of the things that you mentioned in some of the department expenditures had to do with cyber premiums. Is that a new deal for us?
The insurance premiums, you mean, or the side account?
No, the insurance, I understood it to be a insurance premium, and it indicated cyber premium or something.
Cybersecurity.
Thank
Yeah.
you for asking about that. So additionally, so the insurance premium is always paid up front at the beginning of the year. But this year, we did enhance our cybersecurity, and they didn't have the tier 2, tier 3 options available through CIS until just a month or two ago. And so we have taken advantage of that. And yes, a payment is coming out. It actually hasn't hit yet, but you will see that in your third quarter report. And fortunately, CIS was able to get us a fairly good rate on that premium. So because it will be spread out over all of the operating funds, you probably won't even notice it. It's about another $9,000. But again, for much better coverage than basically $1.25 million is what we would have as potential coverage based on the third tier. For an extra $9,000, I thought that was well worth it versus $50,000 coverage for a $3,000 premium. So I think that.
What will that cover?
That covers a number of things that can happen. As you know, we had a very close call with an ACH fraudulent attempt to take about 143,000 from our accounts. That would have actually been covered by our excess crime. But there are other aspects so that they define very carefully as far as if it's an email phish type of situation, then it typically falls under cyber crime or excess crime, I should say. But other things that might, like a ransomware type of attack, is probably the best example I could give. If they were able to hack into our network, which our IT folks are very, very good, and we've got a new firewall, which ARPA monies also help pay for. That I'm not anticipating that will be an issue, but more and more these things you can't predict. I mean, I never would have predicted the ACH theft either. So people have to just be very, very cognizant and follow policy very, very, carefully, I would say, because people are getting in ways that just haven't happened before, and we are not the only ones it's happening to. So,
I think. Yeah, it does. Yeah. And I'm glad to hear it. Really glad to hear it. I would also encourage you to, and I'm sure you already are, but, staff training is pretty essential here because, while the technical penetration is getting more and more sophisticated, oftentimes it's a human error that actually makes that penetration easier.
You're absolutely right. We actually have been doing training. We did a full every single employee sitting down at a computer training that was not even a classroom training, so people could fall asleep during it. I mean, there was a test at the end, and so we are really pushing that very hard. Especially, we've had 2 or 3 very close calls this year, especially with new staff, frankly, and not because they're just learning a lot at like from a funnel kind of thing. So we're trying to make sure that they get cyber training, and they all have cyber handbooks that they have to sign off on. And so, as you know, council also is subject to that same training. So,
well, it's a small item in your impressive report here, but I think I'm glad you're able to expand on that a bit, because I think it's really an important deal, increasingly so. So good job, good report.
Thank you.
Any other questions or items to highlight? All right, go home, take care of yourself. Thank you. That brings us to our reports. And this evening, I have just a few things I really obviously want to thank everyone for the work that went into setting up our town hall, and the attendance I thought was really good. Have gotten great feedback. In fact, seeing someone who was at the town hall the other day, she just ran up recently and hugged me. She said it was so great to be there and have those conversations. And we walked away with a good idea of what folks in our community might be interested in us looking at for the coming year. Things I think we were all interested in looking at for the coming year. So really looking forward to that and to our goal setting session, where we'll be able to explore those things a little bit more. Speaking of town halls, yesterday, Senator Jeff Merkley, our junior federal senator, was in town. He spoke at Western Oregon University, had a small meet and greet. There were about 6 of us that got to meet with him briefly before that to sort of highlight and push what our priorities are in our community. Councilor Lopez and I attended that. And then he spoke for about an hour and answered questions again from our community folks. And just really encouraging to see that kind of participation and representation. We're very fortunate both he and Senator Wyden now have been here. And Representative Andrea Salinas, our new congresswoman, will be here. Fortunately, her community town hall is the Tuesday, the 21st from 6 to 7, and we'll be here. So may not be able to attend that, but if folks are listening, that is planned for Tuesday, the 21st from 6 to 7. And I believe she's going to use the Ash Creek Annex for that. So, but Marty has information about a meet and greet prior to that, where she wants to meet with elected folks. So wonderful to have them here listening and taking things back to Washington. Nikki mentioned the State of the Cities. The chamber sponsoring that annual event this year will be on the 28th, Tuesday the 28th at 11 a.m. at the Independence Event Center. Looking forward to talking about all the great stuff going on and good things to come. So super excited about that. I think that's all I've got. Reports of boards and commissions. My board, the MyNet board, meets 2 weeks. So I'll be reporting back after that. Councilor Belts, anything from you?
I have 3 meetings to report on. I'll try to be brief. I have been attending the Council of Governments legislative meetings. Those are 7 a.m. the first Wednesday and the third Wednesday of the month. Those are online. That's with the executive committee. We meet with our lobbyists and we hear what bills we're following, what may be of interest. If there's anything that's relevant or significant, I forward it on to Marty. And then, although she gets, I think, the update as well. And so those are, it's actually quite educational for me because there's so much information out there that I don't know about. So I appreciate going to those. I did go to the SEDCOR Ag Breakfast. There were 2 of them. One was held in Mount Angel. One was held in at Eola Hills. I went to the one at Eola Hills. Fascinating information. They were talking about trends that are impacting producers. That's fiber producers, food producers in the Willamette Valley, farm-centric innovation. There were innovation clusters pairing agriculture and technology together. And then they talked about the microeconomics of the entire region. I would definitely encourage anybody that's interested in ag to go to those breakfasts. Lastly, today I went to my first Senior Center Advisory Board meeting, although it was a special meeting. It was called to discuss the distinction that they are looking for of being an age-friendly community. And this is something that will come back to council. There's an application process that they go through AARP. They will be looking to both mayors, Mayor McCardle and Mayor Kuntz, to write a joint letter supporting this request. Once the request has gone in, then the hard part starts. And there is an assessment process that they will go through within the community, probably through a series of town hall meetings. There are 8 different areas that they look at, things like transportation for seniors, housing, access to medical, and they have a very detailed process that they're planning on going through to get that certification. Then once they are certified, the plus is they are then the Monmouth Community Center and the advisory board will be eligible for a significantly larger amount of grants and things that they can then use for transportation or to redo the kitchen or things like that. So it was very interesting. That was not our regular meeting. Our regular meeting's in a couple weeks. So I'll report back then. And I was told by one of the members that she very much appreciated every month your report on council activities. So the bar is high. Thanks.
No.
As I said, the highest bar I set is I provide lunch at their last meeting of the year. So that's what you have to really look forward to.
And I had intended on providing donuts at my last library board meeting, but they already provided them. So.
Which meets tomorrow morning. And Councilor Belts, you actually set the bar high for me because I have to report on council meeting, and you have done a wonderful job, and they said that as well. I'm passing on their thank you.
Nothing. Councillor Carey, Councillor Salinas Oliveros has one, then we'll save the Planning Commission for last.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to make sure to share the arts and culture. We met on January 19th. It's a really great group of individuals who are working all the time, it seems, in this commission. So we talked about the 4th of July and the theme of recycled art. We talked about the hats. It's like trash and hats and creating hat art, creating these hats using different materials. And we talked about how to possibly connect with the schools and have our elementary school kids, middle school, high school kids maybe be more involved in the 4th of July art show and art events. And so we did talk about that as well, and still completing the survey and having some great success with that. And then our PATHS group, our homeless prevention group, is not meeting this month. They are working on the strategic plan and getting a draft to us that we can review in March. So, but thank you. I lost you for a little bit. My computer was going a little crazy, but thank you.
The floor is yours, Councillor Carey.
I'm just going to report just a little bit and flesh out a bit more of the Planning Commission's decision on Wednesday, February 1st. Marty referenced it in her Friday notes, but 2 things. One, Stephen Howard was reelected as chair of that committee, and he does a nice job, as I think we all know. And then the decision or the issue before them was whether or not to allow a single, we used to call them single family unit, single family house on a lot in a high density zoned area. And they ended up approving that. The more they looked at it, and it was an excellent plan. It's not far. I forgot. Well, I tell you what it is. It's 292 Monmouth South, just like 2 blocks south of the Monmouth Main intersection. And there's an old home that's going to be torn down there. They're going to put 3 duplexes. In the main portion of a very large lot. Because of the unique nature and configuration of the lot, there was kind of a space back in the back that really was going to be underutilized. And the developer thought, well, maybe if we can get And it is a permitted, it's not an outright permitted, but it's a conditional use to put a single family dwelling on that. And they ruled in favor of that. So we'll end up having 7 housing units on one large lot. And it fits the, more housing, whether or not it's affordable or not is a big question. But hopefully the duplexes will be that. It's a single lot, so it's not going to be, there was no land division involved. So there's no, easements or anything else. It was a good decision, well put together by Suzanne, and it sort of meets our need, meets our goals of providing more housing. So I'm only reporting on this just sort of as a shout out to good work on the part of the Planning Commission.
Great, thank you. I did have one other thing, just so you know, and I will get the link sent out. ODOT currently has posted a 2 options that are being considered for the Highway 22, Highway 51 interchange. And our county commissioners suggested that ODOT might want to actually engage the people of Monmouth Independence in getting opinions, since they use it more than anyone. And ODOT has reached out to try and figure out when they can offer a presentation on the options they're considering and see if we have input. So don't have a date or time for that yet, but there are some links to the plan on the website, so you can see the couple of things they're considering. But that will be, we'll announce that if we get a time set. So, and that takes us to our city manager's report. So Marty.
Thanks, Mayor and Council. I think I've said before, it's either a benefit or a curse that my report comes after all of your reports, because now everything that I had on my report has been mentioned by somebody in some form, except for one. So I'll be polling you for your interest in attending an early meeting with Congresswoman Andrea Salinas that's coming up on February 21st. So expect to have, you'll get a message from me asking for your availability and interest in attending that. I also wanted to extend my thanks to everybody who attended the town hall and made those conversations really interesting and successful. I've sent you a summary of that conversation so that you can think about it ahead of your February 18th goal setting meeting. The goal setting meeting is going to be held at the university in the Werner Center at the Willamette Room, and I'll send out more details about the time and place of that meeting on Saturday, February 18th. Last week, the City Hall Key Communicators Group met. I continue to be appreciative of the advice and input that that group is providing for the City Hall project. I'm hoping in an upcoming meeting to bring you a briefing about what's happening with the project, although it's becoming evident that you can stand at the fence and see what's going on with actually the building part of it. So, but I want to give you an update about the budget and what's happening with funding for it, and what you can expect to see throughout the rest of this year on that project. At the budget kickoff meeting, you heard me say, related to the upcoming trolley service, that Monmouth and Independence had applied for a STIF, Statewide Transportation Improvement Fund. Maybe that's the right acronym, grant. STIF, STIF, Transit Discretionary Funding Grant. Our regional Mid-Willamette Valley Area Commission on Transportation, the MWAC, met this week and recommended the trolley funding along 3 other regional projects to the state level of funding. So the idea of that grant application was to help bridge to as long a pilot project as we can manage with the trolley, and hopefully extend beyond that. So we're continuing to try to leverage other funds to start that service and keep it going. And I think I mentioned that early March, the first week of March, is what we're targeting for the service start date. And also there will be an event that I'll send you the details about so we can cut the ribbon on running that service. Exciting, it's getting close here. Let's see. When Nikki was presenting, she mentioned our Love Local campaign during February. And so if you shop local at eligible businesses, you've already got your receipts turned in, you've got your utility credit. Because this is going to continue all month. So just wanted to put in a plug for our Love Local campaign. A lot of the other updates I have are administrative. Our management team meets on the Monday before our council meeting. So I got lots of updates from our departments this week about events that are going to be happening this month at the library and at the senior center. Many in observation of Black History Month. And so, I think many of those things are already on your calendars. So I don't know if there's a lot to report on that front. And finally, I have a save the date for a community information center or session that is scheduled for let me get my date right, the 16th, which is next week. The Community Information Center is about youth housing, which is going to be coming to Polk County, and it's with funding from the Youth Homelessness Demonstration Program. That's going to be held at Central High School in the library, and it's from 6 to 7:30. And we're looking forward to having everybody from the community come and learn. It'll be about the topic is the benefits of youth housing initiatives. There will be a panel of youth who will be talking about their lived experience. And those are members of our Youth Action Board and Backbone. So anyway, I'm hoping that you'll be able to attend, and I'll send out more information, but there's a lot going on in these last 2 weeks of February. So just wanted to ask you to mark your calendars for that. And I think that's all I've got.
Could you give the date again on that?
The 16th.
Thank you.
We talked quite a bit about housing affordability and homelessness with Senator Merkley, and he has sponsored legislation that would restrict hedge funds from purchasing large amounts of individual properties when they go on sale in the auction blocks and things, to try and keep potentially affordable housing stock in communities. So that was one thing he's working on that he did mention. So things like that we can use in our community. Comments or announcements, Councillor Oberst.
A reminder that on Monday, Buffalo Soldiers Fighting on Two Fronts, a film that will eventually show up on PBS during their Juneteenth celebration, will be shown at Western Monday the 13th at 4 p.m. in the Warner Center, and I believe it's in the Willamette Room. There is parking available. The parking enforcement people have agreed to stand down and allow parking behind Warner for the public, and also in the lot that's behind Maple Hall, Todd Hall, just off of West Church. We've also managed to arrange a showing at the high school, which will be just for the high school kids, but 2 sections of Oregon history class will be able to see the film that morning, and maybe AP history will squeeze in, AP US history will squeeze in too. So good stuff all around there. It's been an interesting experience pulling all this together. So coming along. The only other thing I have, I am a member of the West Valley Hospital Foundation Board. Lane used to be on the board. Darren Silvernager used to be on the board. Darren still is. Darren used to be on council. He still is on the board. One of the things that board does is provide scholarships to folks in Marion and Polk County who are interested in pursuing health careers or upping their certifications, et cetera. And we've helped a lot of local folks in the medical field become better at what they do by offering scholarships. So we used to have a gala every fall, and we decided that we wanted to change that into more of a celebration event. And for fundraising, we have hired an outfit coming up from Eugene who offers sort of faux casino games. And it's not real money. Well, it costs real money to get in, and it costs real money to buy the fake money, which you can then gamble, and your efforts from your pocket will go to scholarships. The name of this thing is All In for scholarship, healthcare scholarships. And if anyone is interested in this, this is March 10th at the Independence Hotel. 5:30 to 8:30, and you're not expected to be there the whole time. You can come and stay for a while. It occurs to me that it would be a great opportunity to try out the trolley since it will be up and running, hopefully. And $50 a person will get you 2 drink tickets and heavy appetizers, as they say, and complimentary non-alcoholic beverages. There will be non-gambling games for the non-gamblers in the crowd, and so on and so forth. If you are interested, please contact me through my city email. Just go to the city website and you'll be able to find me and send me an email, and I'll get you more information and how to contact the registration page. Thanks.
Other announcements?
I would just like to do another shameless plug for the Black History Month. That is on Tuesday, February 28th. It'll be here in the Senior Center. We're going to have Dr. Dwayne Plaza come from OSU to give a really wonderful interactive presentation. So it'd be great. The kids' artwork is up. We have 27 classes who participated this year. Most of Monmouth Elementary School teachers participated, and in 20 businesses. So we had so many classes, we had to like double up in Monmouth Fitness Center. So I also want to give a real big kudos to the library. And if people haven't been in there this month, they have a wonderful Black History Month display, a timeline, a Black Pioneers in their display case. And they're showing the movie 42, which is this coming Friday. It's the story about Jackie Robinson. It's a delightful movie. And it's at 6:30 in the library, and they're going to have pizza. So don't cook dinner on Friday, just go to the movie. And they are putting into the Monmouth Library Facebook page a fact about Black History Month every day. So every day they have a new fact. So good. Yeah, it's they're amazing. They're amazing. I just can't. Kudos.
Don't see anything online, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And thank you, Councilor Oberst. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, bye. We are
Thank
adjourned.
you. Good night.